everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Erica. I'm here once again to do a little bit of a tournament report from my first Road to Nationals weekend here in Sweden. Also went to Oslo this past weekend, so I wanted to take you through what went down basically for me. Not a great weekend, I'm gonna be honest. It's hard to bounce back from the highs of the Battle Harden in Liverpool last weekend into this one, but it was a very hectic weekend, so I'll tell you all about it. We had a Road to Nationals happening in Gothenburg this weekend. I live in Stockholm, so I had to take the 6:30 morning train on Saturday in order to get to Gothenburg to play this Road to Nationals. It was a CC Road to Nationals. The tournament started at 12. My train arrived in Gothenburg at like 9:30ish, so I had 2.5 hours to kill. So I decided to pack my bags with my gym clothes, and I decided to go to the gym to go for a run. I try to go for a run about 3 times a week in order to practice for some running events that is happening later this year. Also trying to lose some weight with that, so there is a lot of incentive for me to try to capture any time to go practice or gym. So I decided to do that, and it was probably not the wisest decision, if I'm being honest. Mentally, I was fine, but physically, I was exhausted. Waking up super early, going for a run was not optimal. I didn't get any sleep on the train. I was watching Love is Blind because I'm an addict. And so, lack of sleep, my run wasn't super amazing. But apart from that, I went into this tournament feeling a little bit under, and yeah, we were playing Bravo again, the same list as I brought to Battle Harden. I saw that FabTCG has now launched that on the FabTCG website, so if you want to have a look on exactly how that list looks like, you can head over there and find it. So I played the same list, and it was not a great start. We started out against a KO, and we had a really good start, though. We wanted to go first, and he ended up with a hand with 3 no blocks in them. So he could block 3, and we came in with a Zealous Belting into a hammer for 6. We took him down to 30, 30-something life on my starting turn. Feeling good. Great start for us. Hallelujah. But he just put on all gas, no brakes, and I was just waiting for an opportunity where he maybe have an off turn, or maybe a setup turn, where I could come back with something huge. And nothing connected. I was able to get a Chokeslam in, very clutch against his, what's it called? Cast Bones. And Chokeslam is amazing against Cast Bones. You can just nullify Cast Bones with your Chokeslam if it hits. Problem was that he still had all his equipment left, so he could just shove his equipment in front of that Chokeslam, and his Bare Fangs was still gonna come in for 1 billion damage. So not great. So he was he was able to catch her back and take that game home. And yeah, not starting off to a great start there. Having a 2-0 against KO in the Battle Harden felt really good, and I felt really solid about my strategy going into that matchup, and it just faltered, even though we had such a great start. So I was feeling a little bit down, and as I mentioned, already feeling poor because of the early morning and the travel and whatnot. Anywho, we go into the next game. It's a Levia. There is like not a whole lot of brutes, but I get to face all of them in my first and second round, so not great. I don't love the matchup, but it's fine. And this Levia was just cracking me over. He rolled a 5 and a 6 on Scabs and was able to just deliver so much damage. He got off 2 Blood Rush turns, not back to back, but almost, and also like clapping back with so much damage, and I could not keep up. He transformed into Blesmophet, and I was able to try and keep up, but I failed, and he was able to just push through so much damage. He got so much value out of a Ghostly Visit. I think it's called a Ghostly Visit. Let me check. What's its name? Ghostly something. No, it's a Ghostly Visit. He got a red Ghostly Visit out really early, and he could just cycle that back into his graveyard and then into his banish and play it out again. I think he got like 16 value out of that Ghostly Visit over the course of the game, which was insane. It was super annoying, especially when he also managed to roll Scabs, because that was when he was able to get that one in there for free, basically. Super annoying, but this guy also went on to top 8 the event, and I think he ended up top 4. So he's a super good player, super great Levia player since old, so no hard feelings there. And just cracking into the next game, and it's a dash. We love a good dash, don't we? It's the OG dash, and he's on the pistol plan, of course. He gets out 2 induction chambers quite early and a plasma purifier, but we are able to just push so much damage. Our deck is really, really on the front foot, and he comes with a play where he blocks with his adaptive plating and decides to scrap one of his induction chambers to get the bonus effects on that one with a block. Not sure that was the best decision. And he is now down 1 induction chamber. He's not able to find his 3rd induction chamber to go up to 2 again. And so we are able to clap back and come out that one with a win. Pretty good. 2 losses, 1 win in. We have the worst breakers in the world, but we're here to have fun and play good games. We have 5 rounds in total, and this was round number 3. Going into round number 4, we have an Azalea. This is one of my dear friends here in Stockholm, Tobias, who has been playing Azalea for a good bit now. And he got to win the die roll, he got to start, and he presented me with the Bloodrot Pox arrow with the Bloodrot Pox pump. So 2 Bloodrot Pox tokens on hit, which is not amazing and a good start. And we are looking at a Pummel CNC and 2 3 blocks on our starting hand. Amazing. We want to keep that. Problem is that in order to keep that, we need to shove some equipment in front of this big arrow in order to not take 4 damage or more from this arrow. So we decide to block with the 2 cards that is not the Pummel CNC, and we shove the new gloves that I've forgotten the name of, that whenever the opponent pushes an attack to do more damage, it would do that damage -1. And so I think that was a great opportunity. The problem is that he has Rain Razors on his hand, so he's able to respond with his Rain Razors when I put my gloves on the stack, which then nullifies basically my gloves effectively. So I didn't think that one through really, but my alternative wasn't really that much better. So it's really hard that he can, or Azalea can just overtune the effects on the gloves like that. So it's a bit sad. But so we take 1 damage as he's able to step 1 over. And we get 2 Bloodrot Pox token. Not great. And so we draw into our 2 extra cards, and it's a Warmonger's Diplomacy and a red attack. So now I'm faced with a conundrum, because I'm sitting here with 2 Bloodrot Pox token. I don't want to take 4 more damage, because I've already taken too much. So what do we do here? We could either play the Warmonger's Diplomacy, because he doesn't have any cards left from his past turn, because he had to play the Rain Razors in order to go over our blocks. So he doesn't have an arsenal, which basically means that if we can just present this Warmonger, we basically force him to have an off turn again to set up for the next turn, which then he will have an arsenal slot, which we then can send the Pummel CNC at. Good plan. So we send the Warmonger's Diplomacy, we take 4 from the Bloodrot Pox token, feeling sad, and then he presents just a small arrow back from Warmongers as he chooses war. He was able to load an arrow, send it in our face, we could just block, and we can then present the CNC Pummel. And this is when we can start clapping back a bit. So the CNC Pummel hits, he discards his arsenal and his hand, he comes back with a small arrow, we block that one out, send another attack back, and then we draw into another Pummel CNC on the same hand, and we have Tunic on 3. Amazing. My deck just rolls. So we block with 1 card or something and some equipment, send another Pummel CNC with him having a card in arsenal. And here we just roll. We send Dominated Choke Slam, we send Starstruck's Dominated, we just roll. And we just draw the nuts, and we take that one home. And now we're able to go 2-2 into the last round. Looking into the last round, since our breakers are so shite, we are not able to go into top 8. So next game doesn't really matter at this point in time, and I am so tired. I am exhausted. So I go into the next game, and it's a Katsu. Now, Katsu is a very, very fun matchup. He has this new 0 blue that gives his combo cards +1. And also he gets to banish his top card, and if it's a combo card, he gets to play it, which I got to see in real time for the first time, which was really fun. But I also have new equipment with his new gloves, right? That can prevent him from going Ancestral Empowerment and doing some of that shenanigans, or even Art of War. So I haven't tested this matchup a lot, so we just try it. And I make so many stupid mistakes, it's not even funny. I block for no reason on random shenanigans. And I end up with situations where I have 2 blues in hand and I don't want to arsenal a blue. I can't use the other blue for anything because I just misread what he is doing every single time. And he also jumps me off a little bit because sometimes he is just sitting there with 2 cards in hand and decides to pass turn and just arsenal and pass, right? Not sure why. And so I'm not able to like effectively use my hand accordingly because I was expecting him to attack me with something more where I could utilize the block value and just swing with hammer back. And so he doesn't. But it was a super, super rough game for me. I was super tired, as I mentioned, just making a lot of silly mistakes. So we lose that one. But none of us are in contention for top 8, so it doesn't really matter in the end of the day. So losing some elo is sad, but it is what it is. So coming out of the first Road to Nationals 2 and 3 in the end, not super happy with my performance. I also feel I got a little bit rolled by the Levaya and KU that could just pump all gas, no brakes, and I can only block so much, right? So it is what it is. We then jump into the car and drive, 4 hours up to Oslo to spend the night. We arrive at Oslo at like 1 a.m. in the morning as we had to have something to eat. And the tournament started so late in Gothenburg, so we got off of Gothenburg quite late in the evening. So we arrive at Oslo at 1 a.m. And we go to bed and wake up the next morning. The next tournament is an RTN draft. And so coming in there with hopefully better expectations than we had in the CC Armory. I love this draft format. I think it's so much fun. And also I didn't get to draft anything in Liverpool. I only played sealed as I wasn't able to capitalize and go day 2 where the draft is happening. And there wasn't really a lot of draft side events, so it was only sealed, which is fine. Lets me learn the cards and learn synergies and stuff like that. So that was fun. But drafting is another beast. I love draft. It's a very skill-intensive format where you both have to picture what you want to play, figure out and read signals as you go with the draft, and then you have to play your absolute best in order to face more strong opponents. So I want to take you through the 2 drafts that I did. There were 2 drafts into the top 8 drafts. We were 28 players in total. So this is my first draft. We went with Betsy. I read Guardian Open super early and just went with it. And felt pretty good about this one. Got a super good amount of blue 3 blocks. I started valuing those quite highly in the Guardian. And so you can see here the 2 blocks blue, the 3 blocks blue, the 2 blocks yellow, the 3 blocks yellow, the 2 blocks red, and the 3 blocks red. We have a pretty good equipment suite with the Stand Grab Gauntlet, the Might Vigor Girth, and the Sheltered Cove came in quite clutch a few times. So I was super happy to see that. I think I was one of 2 Guardians in this pod, and even though I started drafting Guardian pretty early, I still ended up looping these 2 non-Guardian cards, which was super weird. But yeah, I was super happy with this deck. I went Betsy with this one. And we felt pretty good with this one until we played our first game, which was a KO. And it was a super tight game, but I made so many mistakes. I made like 2 or 3 mistakes along the way, and he played a wild ride and missed, which was my ability to come back. We were both down to 1-1. It was super, super close, but he managed to take that one home, and he went on to 3-0 the pod, so all good to him. But we were feeling pretty sad, starting the day with a loss, feeling like this is just going to be the Gothenburg CC event all over again, right? But we're feeling good about this deck, and so we're not giving up. We face a Kasai in the next round, and we won that one. He made some silly mistakes, and I also made some silly mistakes, and yet we were able to capitalize on that one. Why am I making so many mistakes? I think the problem is that I'm so eager to see how the match is going to go, and this is like a very, very slow or like a very, very fast format compared to CC, where games can just be over in like 20 minutes or 15 even. So I play too eagerly, and I don't think, like one of the mistakes I made was that I was going to play a Wage Might, with the intention of wagering a Might token, hopefully winning that one. And so I was thinking beforehand, I'm going to pop my Vigor of Girth. So I had both a Vigor token and a Might token. So if I draw into some of the 4-cost attacks or something like that, I can make sure that I can send those over with this Might token. But what I end up doing is I pop the Gauntlet on Might, thinking I have a Vage Vigor in hand all of a sudden. I don't know what. So all of a sudden we have 2 Might tokens instead of 1 Vigor and 1 Might. Which in the end didn't hurt us as much, but since we have the stand ground, I wanted to capitalize on having a Vigor and a Might token in order to block out more and use the stand ground basically and capitalize on that. But yeah, we won that one anyway. So on to the 3rd round, and this was a super tight game. And here I don't think I made any mistake. I played super tight and ended up winning that one as well. So we're 2-1 going into the next pod, which ended up becoming a 10-man pod, which was very sad. I hate a pod that goes over 8 people. And it's so hard to read signals. It's super hard to understand what is happening inside the pod. And it's typically too late, because what happens when you're so many people around the table is that the card or the first pack that you open is going to take so much longer time in order to get around the table. So when you get to that pack, it's typically too late to pivot and realize that something is overdrafted, because you know perfect information what you have sent and what you get back. So you know which Guardian, if there's more Guardian cards around the table, you notice that all the Guardian cards are gone, for example, so you can start like thinking out exactly how this pod looks like. But since you're 10 men or women around the table, it's going to take even longer for that pack to get back. And by the time that pack gets back, you must have started locking in something. So you can be super punished in this format if you don't read signals correctly. And as I said, with a 10-man pod, it's super hard. And I struggled a lot. We read Guardian open again, and I'm happy to play Guardian. It's super fine. And so we started drafting Guardian in pack 1, and the last card that came around the table to me in pack 1 was the red stack in your favor. And that to me says, Erica, you're in the perfect right seat. Guardian is Omega open and everything is going to be fine. What ends up happening in pack 2 and 3 is that Guardian is just gone. And not just gone, the packs that I open are super weird. Like, I only see yellows and blues. And blue Guardians are typically fine, but they're 3 blocks. But I'm also starving on equipment. So going into pack 2, I needed to get some equipment down. And so what ended up happening is that I see packs with the powerful reds, and I see cards with the equipment right. So I'm sitting there opening a pack, and either it's like yellow and blue Guardian power attacks that doesn't do anything, or there is the red power value cards together with the equipment that I want. So what I ended up doing is that I favorized the equipment, thinking, but it's okay, Erica, you're the only, there are very few Guardians in this pod and you're in the perfect seat, so some of these power Guardian attacks will probably wheel right. But Guardian just dries up immediately on the second pack as we go the other way around. And me picking equipment instead of the red power cards hurts me badly. Like, going into this draft, the amount of powerful reds that I have is so much fewer than the ones that I had in the Betsy deck prior. But we end up finding quite a few clash cards. But the problem is with this clash card is that since I don't have a lot of the powerful reds, me winning these clashes are super bad. So I'm not feeling too good about this one. The funniest part was that there were like 5 stand grounds. I'm not even kidding. There were 5 stand grounds in this pod wheeling. And so in the third pack, I ended up picking up one of the stand grounds, thinking, oh yeah, it's good that I take this one now because it'll be wheeling like crazy. But what ended up happening, because you can see I have 2, was that the other stand ground that wheeled in this pack, in the last pack, went all the way around, and the last card that I pick up from pack 3 is the stand ground. And it was so funny because I completely lost it and thought to myself, I completely forgot that I picked the stand ground. So I was like, should I pick up a stand ground? Because like I had already picked a stand ground and I saw another stand ground coming my way. This was before the end of the pack. And so I had a little bit of a deja vu moment. It was like, did I pick a stand ground yet? And I couldn't remember if I did or not. And so I was like, well, I'm not gonna make my bets thinking I already picked the stand ground. So I'm just gonna send the stand ground, and hopefully hope that I remember correctly, and I don't remember back to the first pod where I picked the stand ground versus which I didn't. So I picked the first stand ground that I saw. I wheeled the second one, and then the last pick of the pack was another stand ground. So when I saw the stand ground for my last pick, I was like, oh well, if I fucked up now and didn't remember if I picked stand ground or not, at least we have a stand ground, right? And then I opened up my pack to review, and I realized, oh shit, I already picked the stand ground as well. So that was super weird. 10-man pod, and the Guardian pool was just tight. You can see the big discrepancy here also in the amount of 2-block blues, because I was just starving for blues. Because I was thinking, since the first pack, like most of these red cards came from pack 1, because in pack 1, Guardian was super open, so I picked all the good, powerful red Guardian attack cards. And so going into pack 2, we were starving blues. And so we started picking blues, and as I mentioned, no good Guardian blues, it was mostly yellows. And so I end up with a big discrepancy compared to the first pod where we have like a good chunk of 3-block blues and a smaller chunk of 2-block blues. We have a huge chunk of 2-block blues, which is not great in Guardian. You typically want more. So I wasn't super happy with this pod. And I was, as I mentioned, like going into a 10-man pod, like nothing you do is going to wheel. Nothing good is going to come out of it. So you basically only see the packs once and a half, and it's never great. I wasn't super happy about this one. So yeah, we go into our first game, and it's a Betsy with Chapeau. Now, I never saw a Guardian helmet as 2 Guardians in the first pod that we played, super sad. And then the first game that I faced in the second pod in round 1 is a Betsy with the Chapeau, and I'm super jealous. I was like, I would kill someone to see a Guardian head whenever I'm drafting Guardian. It never happens to me, it feels like. Super sad. But of course I meet the Chapeau Betsy, and she is just rolling me over. She has so many good powerful reds, and I was like, this is where all the powerful reds went. Not in my favor. So yeah, we got a super high roll on that one. Still might be able to eke out. So we go into the next game thinking, okay, we still got this. It's not the worst pool of the day. We can probably make something happen here. And it's a KO. Apparently someone dropped in our pod, and so I get paired up against a KO that is 1-0, and he has a knucklehead. He has the knucklehead, he has the raw meat, he has the flat trackers. He doesn't have the might gloves, but it doesn't matter. He just rolls me over. He has too much block. I have 2 little power cards, and I have too many 2 blocks. He just rolls me over. I don't have a say about anything. So yeah, we lose that one, and we drop. Because now there's no point anymore, and we want to go home. So we packed our bags and went home for the day. So yeah, we learned a lot though. We learned that you really need to favorize your blue block 3s. You really need to make sure you have your good powerful reds. And it's also really good to have some of these blocking cards. I did not focus on these ones too much, but I ended up getting a couple of them in both pots. And I think both Reinforce the Line and the other generic block that blocks of 4 is really, really good. And so that is something I'm going to try to focus on more when playing Guardian in the future, because my game plan typically playing Guardian is just block with 2 cards and send 7. Block with 2 cards, send 7. Sometimes with Betsy, if you get some leeway, you can keep 3 cards and send a wager and power it up. But mostly I just block with 2 cards and 7. But yeah, this pod did not have enough 3 cost 7s, unfortunately. So yeah, not the greatest weekend, but we'll take it. So that was my tournament report from the first Road to National seasons. We're looking into another weekend this weekend with Stockholm having 2 back-to-back Road to Nash. We have CC happening on Saturday, and we have draft happening on Sunday. So basically back-to-back same setup as we had last weekend. And so I'm excited to play Bravo again because I don't have time to play something else. And I'm probably going to try to focus on my draft this week to prepare for the RTN draft that is happening on Sunday. And various reasons, there's a lot of Dash and Brute players here in Stockholm locally, so me going Bravo is not the wisest decision there is. And I don't have time to learn something else, basically. And so we're just going to roll with Bravo and see how it goes. And hope that we do well in one way or another. And yeah, probably going to come back with you with another video after that weekend to let you know how it went. I hope this was useful to you. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe for more of this type of content. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.